Hello, this is a quick look at the LEGO Speed Champions 1970 Ferrari 512M. This comes with 291 pieces. I bought it for its suggested retail price of $20 US, and I built it live over on Twitch. This does come with, or does require, the use of quite a large number of stickers. Of course, it comes with a minifigure we'll look at closer later on, but this also has some prints in it, and some of those prints are interesting because they are included just for us fans, and not for the use really and display in the model. They're actually hidden away. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. I'll also show you a comparison of this to one of the Le Mans style cars from the 6-wide Speed Champions era a little bit later on. Overall, this thing looks fantastic to me for a LEGO build that does not introduce any new specialized pieces just for it. I'm a fan of the source material in general, just the classic era of prototype vehicles like this, and I think that this captures the overall proportions pretty well. There is one thing about it that I particularly don't like. Why is that piece not down? There we go, that's more like it. But just generally speaking, the build process for this was good. It was a little bit finicky in parts. There are a number of pieces that are attached with just a single stud, or maybe a couple studs offset from one another. So it just didn't have the best feeling assembly compared to some others. But in the end, when it all comes together, it all does come together well. This is interesting what they did for the headlights up here. Not the most effective thing though. So they went with just the trans dark brown, or what we commonly call trans black, 1x2 bricks there, but then also put the tile at the side, which is printed. So it's printed with the red going down the side, but the printed red is obviously just too dark. So it's like a good effort, a good attempt, a good thought, but again, the execution just doesn't quite work out. What does work out really well is the total lack of gap right here. Even though this is a gap between two completely different sub-assemblies, you can kind of see here, I kind of move it out of the way, but move that up, like those come together really nicely. That shaping in there is nice. Most of the shaping is nice. What I don't like about this particularly is the canopy. And that is the one thing that I noticed from the pictures that didn't seem quite right to me. And it's actually a little bit worse in person than I thought it would be, because I knew that the red printing on here would not be as bright and vibrant as the regular plastic color. I knew that. I didn't realize that it's printed twice, and there's this overlap that goes down the middle. Now, your mileage may vary on that. You may get a version of this that doesn't have quite as much overlap, but I think that's going to be about the average right there. So you get that stripe down there, which just really, the stripe itself doesn't bother me. It's more that it underscores and enhances and accentuates the fact that this should be a much brighter red color. It's also not the right shape, honestly. From some angles, this looks really, from that angle right there, it almost looks like the P45 modern remake, or not even really remake, but the P45 is kind of its own thing that's inspired by the P34. But yeah, that's a nice look there, but it's still not quite right. From the side, that looks pretty dang good to me. But see, this is the real thing. And yeah, it's just a much wider canopy, and it also is smoothed in towards the rear. So this is the shape that it's supposed to be, and this is the shape that we got. Again, some of that is forgivable shape-wise, given that they did not come up with a brand new piece for that, but I really don't like the fact that the canopy is looking so dark, especially when in the pictures, they don't make it look dark. They make it look like it matches. I mean, they've done some things, this is a render here, they've done some things to show different shades of red throughout, to make it not look too plain, but ultimately they're masking the fact that there's a big difference between what we see here and what you're actually gonna get. It's just something that they should be more honest with. I think, personally. If they're going to have that issue, if it's something that we need to live with, they should own it, and they should be straightforward with it. Nice little exhaust, but the whole thing looks a little bit plain around the back because of the, oh man, come on, focus, there we go. The need to get the wheels way back, and the desire to not have anything too far behind the wheels themselves, behind the tires. So, a tiny bit of greebling coming up behind this would have been great, but I think it would have started to mess with, why does this keep coming up? This piece over here does not like to stay down. I think it would have started to mess with the proportions back there. Underneath here this is actually done pretty nicely, the way that these are angled together. And finally, inside, well, the cockpit has just a regular steering wheel, which is rather high up. But, this works because it does allow a figure to be placed down in there and fits just fine. And this does not have a big chassis to base it on. It just has the small 4-wide style of chassis to ensure that a figure is able to sit down low and the whole thing is able to be built rather low. Sorry, the focus keeps messing up here. See a little bit of difference in the sticker color between the grays there. It's much more significant than the difference between the reds. The red backing on the stickers is actually pretty good. Now, that Ferrari logo that you see right there, it's printed 1x2. Not the first time we've gotten this piece. There's one on this side. There's one on the opposite side, right? What if I told you that there are 4 more of those? What if I told you there were 5 more of those? No, it's not here. Do you see them? You're not going to see them because they're hidden. They're just added to the stacks and they're hidden inside of this thing. It is 100% pure fan service. The designer added in extra pieces as prints rather than including just regular 1x1 plates, plain ones, unprinted, so that we would have more of those available on the market. I don't think this is something that the designers do officially. I don't think that there's any direction from the company to do that, but it is allowed. I don't know if it's completely snuck through, but I appreciate it so much. It builds so much goodwill, at least with me, and I think it should build goodwill with other folks as well. It's not an excuse for poor quality here, but it is a really nice thing that, and this is not the fault of the physical product designer, right? The production issues are not the fault of the physical product designer, but the product designer is trying to do nice things for us, trying to make desirable pieces more available on the market. Look for things like that happen all of the time, where specialized or rare colors of pieces are included in various places. More desirable things, newer colors are added into builds deep down inside of things to get them on the market more quickly. It's actually a really nice thing that they do and shows that the designers care about their fans. Now, obviously, this had to be done, right? A little comparison between the new and the old. These are not representing the same vehicle, obviously. Not even close. But they're both red and they both represent similar styles, very similar styles of vehicles between the 6-wide era and the 8-wide era. And you know what? I really liked this when it came out, and I still do to this day. I still think it's a very good effort for its style and for its form factor. So this, to me, is a comparison between something very good from the old era and something from the latest and greatest releases. And I think this really just shows how much more Lego is able to do, how much more the designers are able to do with the increased size here. For better or worse, obviously the 8-wides don't fit in cities as well. This is a race car, so it doesn't matter as much. But the street cars, don't fit in cities as well. And, they're really, really big and they're really expensive. But they're much better to look at least certainly in my opinion. Here's this set's sole figure with, I believe, a brand new exclusive torso print and also exclusive print for the hip piece and for the legs to go with that. So that looks pretty nice. Doesn't quite have the depth that I would like to see. Has the level of detail, has the variety of line thickness, but I think that it looks a little bit flat to me. Relative, I mean, they are trying to suggest some shading in there, but still somehow it feels a little bit flat and a little bit low resolution. Feels like it needs, like the back actually looks a little bit finer, more nicely done. It's odd to me. No alternate face for this one. However, thankfully, they do include a headgear piece that is an alternate. That's just regular hair. And I appreciate that very, very much. Another nod from the designers to what we've asked for them for a long, long time, and they're making it happen. Here are the leftover pieces, including number 5 of that printed 1x1 plate right here with the Ferrari logo on the side of it. And of course, you want to see how complex the sticker sheet was. Maybe there's a little bit more in the way of stickers than you would have expected from just looking at the car. Again, I paid $20 US for this, which is the standard price within the 8+ era. And I don't feel like there's any more or less car here than with any others. So this feels just fine to me. Maybe the level of detail feels a little bit down just looking at it from the back and around the wing area. But overall, it feels good in terms of its level of complexity. Lego clearly just needs to continue to work. Well, no, they just need to work, period, at all on their printing quality, because as their products continue to go upmarket more and more, as they go for an older target age range, and they go for more complexity with some of their products, less complexity with others, there are more people who really care about quality buying their products, buying their more expensive products, right? A typical Lego City 4-wide car that holds one person is going to be $10. This costs twice as much as that. You need to be getting something better than this. You need to be getting something better than this when it comes to the prints. A lot of people ask for all prints and no stickers. There are pros and cons to stickers, but when they are going to do prints, they need to do prints better. This car, though, this car design, really good. Other than that, quite happy with it. Thank you for watching. Once again, hope that you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you again soon.